Hello, my pretties. So, the question is, what questions do you have about money? I'm going to answer your questions, and you can type them here in the live feed as well, and I'll get to them as I see them, as well as the questions I see right here on my laptop. And if you like what you are getting in this, my website is tomberkenmeyer.com. It's tomberkenmeyer.com. Take out the space, just like it's spelled here on social media. And feel free to share this if you know some people who would enjoy a video like this. And my purpose for making this is because I've been there, done that. I used to be controlled and manipulated through money dependency like most people are. And I got out of that nonsense. I started that journey 10 years ago. It took me a couple years to do it. So I've been a free human being for a very long time. So I feel I'm in a place where I can teach it. I don't need a job. I haven't had a job in 11 years. Don't need one. Don't want one. I bought a house in cash. I bought several more houses since then. I travel. I have complete control of my time. And I can do tons of things now with money for the betterment of everybody around me. I can give more to my favorite charities. I can feed more starving people. I can house more low-income families, all because I learned about money. So because of all of that, I feel like I have a standing to teach it. So I'm going to teach it to anybody that wants to learn it so that they can have control over their own lives and their own time and be able to do more of the things that they want to do, no matter what hardships are happening for you right now. So let's get started. The question I posted was just yesterday, 16 hours ago. What questions do you have about money? And the first question that I see is from my friend Teresa. She says, do I have money for her? That's a stupid question. I know you're only joking, Teresa. But I'll answer it anyway. When it comes to giving money away, the only money that I give away is going to be to the Gerson Institute and the King's Ransom Foundation, because every dollar they get goes towards the cause. They don't. Their overhead is taken care of by corporate donors, so everything goes towards the cause. And they do things that I believe in, like feeding the starving, rescuing kids from human trafficking rings, and curing people of all cancers and a lot of other diseases using nature instead of pharmaceuticals. And so those are the people that get all my donation dollars. But as far as giving money to anyone else, I never do it. Never, ever, ever. I'll give training to people so they can get their own money. And it sort of goes in alignment with that old philosophy that says, give a man fish, feed him for a day, teach him to fish, feed him for a lifetime. So that's where I'm coming from with that. Next question. How can you make money with money? All right, I'm going to answer that in at least two different nuances. One, there is an inexcusable, unforgivable lie that's circulating that says you need money to make money. And that's simply not true. You can go out there and disprove that myth all day long. I did. I had to figure it out. I had to get outside of the box of that kind of thinking. But that's what they teach. And I think it's a perfect thing to teach, to keep people obedient workers and obedient to being controlled by money dependency. So when I was in a very tough situation and I didn't have anything, right? No income and almost homeless and things like that, I had to get creative. I came up with a list of 31 ways of making money without having any money whatsoever. And once I did that, I decided to document it all because it was all tried and proven. And I have that on my website. So if you want a copy of that, go to my website, tomberkenmeyer.com. Take out the space, just like it's spelled here, tomberkenmeyer.com. Scroll down, right-hand column. You'll see 31 ways of raising money without having any. And boom. So that's the opposite of the question that was asked, but that's the first nuance I wanted to answer that. The second nuance I wanted to answer that question is, if you want to use money to make money, first invest in yourself and your own skills and your own training. Because if all you have is money to make money, you're going to lose it all. If you don't have the skills, you're going to lose it all. If you have the skills, you can make money without any money, and that's how I got started. I made money from nothing, no money whatsoever, just blood, sweat, and tears. And because I got the skills first, now I can use money to make money. And that's a mistake that a lot of people make. They do not put any investment into their own education about how to use money to make money. So when they think all it takes is money to make money, they try it out with some money that they have and they lose it all. But the smart people are the ones that get the skills. They invest in themselves. They pay themselves first to get the intellectual acuity from somebody who's been there, done that, great at it, willing to teach you, and you're going to be a great student. And then that's how you learn how to make money with money. So I hope that answers that question. And not many people want to do it. We live in a culture that just wants the hot tip of the day. Like, what's the hot tip? And you're going to lose with that. You might get lucky and hit the lottery once, but then you'll put it all back in. I've seen it a million times. And skill is more valuable than money, because with skill you can lose money and you can get it all back again because you got the skill, and nobody can take the skill away from you. Okay, so next question. Let's see here. There's a few statements. Some people are confusing a statement for a question and vice versa, so let me skip past those. Someone asks, why doesn't money grow on trees? It's a silly question, but I'll answer because there's a very valid answer. So let's say money did grow on trees. How common is a tree? Like anybody could go out and get it, therefore it would be worthless. And then we'd be asking other questions. Why isn't money worth more? So that's the reason why it doesn't grow on trees. And in a way it does if you want to get to be a real wisecracker. I mean, money is paper and paper comes from trees. Let's see. The next question is, I want to do more with it that would benefit my family. So I asked my friend Crystal, okay, that's cool. What's your question? She says, I am wondering if investing it somehow would benefit my family later on. And then I responded and I probably said I would answer that, waiting for it to load. Damn, this is really slow. Cool. Okay, so my friend Crystal asks, she's wondering if investing it somehow would benefit her family. I would say if there's a return on the investment, it would, of course. And that goes back to my answer for the last question, is using money to make money. Two nuances there. Just in quick review, I'm not going to go over all of that again. But the best thing you can do is learn how to make money without having any money, because then you're going to be forced to get the skill, the intellectual acuity from people who have been there, done that, did it really well, and is going to teach it, and you're going to be a great student. Now when you have money, you can put it to work and actually get more of it, versus what a lot of people think the answer is just having money to make money, and they lose it all. And sometimes you might hit the lottery, so to speak, but then they lose it all again. Skill is more valuable than money, because you can lose it all and you can get it again. So yeah, if you get the skill and the training and you learn from somebody who's been there, done that, going to teach you, you're going to be a great student. Of course it's going to benefit your family, because pay the bills, provide food and nourishment, security, stability, safety, all those things. Let's see, next question. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, my friend Kamara, she posted a couple things. I'll get to them one at a time. She wants to double or triple her little bitty, she gets a little bitty check every month, and I guess it's not enough to even get by, so it sounds like she's underwater. But she needs to like literally double and triple her income. So what she's talking about is an exponential income growth. And so first let me give this some context. So I'm going to tell you about 2 or 3 different kinds of incomes. One of them is ordinary earned income, and that's the income that you make at your job. It's also the same income that most people make as self-employed people. And what that means is you have to keep showing up every day to get paid, or you stop getting paid. And that's the definition of being chained and shackled to the dollar. That's how people get themselves into this trap of being controlled and manipulated through money dependency, or they can't pay their bills or eat. So that's ordinary earned income. It's the worst kind of income. Financially, it's the dumbest income anybody can make, and 49 out of 50 people make it. So 49 out of every 50 people who are otherwise very smart, probably much smarter than me, who are otherwise very smart, are making the dumbest income that's ever been, the most sinister pyramid scam kind of income that's ever been devised against mankind. That's 49 out of 50 of you. That's what you depend on, and that's why you're shackled to the dollar and you're totally controlled by it, and you don't have control of your time because of it. So then here's the other kind of income, the other kinds of income. To get away from that nonsense, it's called passive and residual income. So residual basically means it builds on top of itself. So let's say you make, I don't know, $50,000 your first year of a new residual income. Now your second year, you don't start at zero trying to make that $50,000 again. That's already established. That's there. It's going to come whether you do anything or not. So you're going to build on top of that. Let's say the next year is $100,000. Now the third year, you're at $100,000. You don't have to start at zero and recreate that. You don't have to keep recreating the dollar. That's hamster wheel money. That's the little hamster on his hamster wheel working hard going nowhere. It's the opposite of that. Residual income is the opposite of hamster wheel money. You build on top of it. And you begin the unshackling of yourself from that stupid pyramid scam dollar. And so, and let's say the third year, a quarter, you double, triple, quadruple. That's one way in which people can get the, double, triple, quadruple their income. They have to start earning residual money. You'll never get that at your job. You'll never get that with ordinary earned income, whether you're self-employed or you're employed. It's just not going to be available for you unless you start to. And residual is just the beginning of it. There's another element to make it an exponential growth kind of thing. And that other element is going to be something that is multi-level. Like you've heard the phrase multi-level marketing, or MLM. And most people want nothing to do with it, which is really unfortunate because it's the one thing that can save people from being controlled and manipulated. It's like the ultimate escape from the pyramid scam. And people grossly, egregiously, falsely equate MLM to a pyramid scam. And it's not an opinion or a belief. It's not a belief that you get to have. It's just you're factually wrong. MLM is this. You have a great message or a bad message, a healing one or a destructive one. You go out, you tell 10 people, those 10 tell 10, those 10 tell 10. And you know who the ultimate MLMer was? Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ told 12 people who went out, told the world, and they told the world, and now there's millions of them because it's MLM, right? Jesus Christ was the ultimate MLMer. And Jesus Christ was all about a message of love and healing and peace and so forth. Something most of his followers do not live up to be honest with you, but that's another discussion for another day. So Jesus Christ was the ultimate MLMer. You know who else is into MLMs? People that want to destroy the world and people that want to save the world. It's all MLM because that's where the fastest growth possible is MLM, multi-level, because it's you telling a bunch of people to tell a bunch of people to tell a bunch of people and so forth. So, I think really the number one reason why most people screw themselves out of ever being free is because they subscribe to the ideas that the top 0.1% want them to subscribe to so that they remain unquestionable, obedient workers and controlled by the dollar. So if you want to get out of being controlled by the dollar, you have to embrace concepts like MLM, residual money, and passive money and get away from ordinary earned income and away from living underneath the thumb of other people that can tell you what to do, which is what ordinary earned income is. So, Camara, to answer your question, residual income is the start of it, but you need a multi-level marketing platform if you want to double and triple your paycheck. Let's see, next question. I think it came from the same person, Camara. Blah, blah, blah. She's basically talking about all the bills that she has, and she wants to be able to pay them. She can barely make it. She's really upset that she can barely make it. And so that just goes back to being covered with residual and passive income, because with passive income, when it's passive, that means that you get paid even if you don't show up. So it's the opposite of hamster wheel money. It's the opposite of a job income. It's the opposite of most self-employed people. Passive income simply means that you put forth the upfront investment of your time. There has to be a period upfront where you put some time into it, even if it's just a few minutes a day so that you can work it around a busy lifestyle. But then you do that for a certain period of time faithfully, and now you got this beautiful passive income. You emerge at some point in the future a free human being because you built up this passive income that has exceeded all of your expenses living in luxury. And by the way, that is the threshold of when you become a free human being. That's the threshold. There's a definitive threshold. You figure out what your monthly expenses are, your necessity plus your luxury. All of your expenses, just add them up. What does it equate to every month? That's your threshold for passive money. Once you build a passive income and it crosses that threshold, that exact dollar amount, that's when you transition into being a free human being. There's only 1 out of 50 people that are doing that. The rest of the 49 out of 50 are shackled to the dollar. They're obedient workers. They're completely controlled and manipulated by the top 1% who needs their unquestionable obedience. So my reason for making this and other videos is to help you guys get out of that nonsense, that pyramid racket. And it's all through passive and residual money. And if you want to get there more quickly, MLM is the way to go, that's for sure. But Camara, regarding your bills, and all of you regarding your bills, that's what it's like to not have any bills. They're still going to be there on paper, but if you have a passive income that exceeds all of your expenses, it's like you don't have any bills anymore. That's what it feels like because you're covered. You can go on vacation. You could work towards an interesting project to help other people or to help yourself or to help your family or whatever. Just something you want to do just because you want to do it. And it doesn't have to pay anything at all, and your bills are covered. It's like you don't have any bills to pay for anymore. That's how you make your bills disappear, is by having a passive income that you grow to exceed all of your expenses. So that's like worthwhile to do. Figure out what your expenses are, tally it up, and total it every month. What is your expense? That's your target. And once you get there, make another target to double or triple that so that you got the safety net that can last you for the rest of your life and your children's life and your children's children's life. And there's only 1 out of 50 people doing that. It's available to everybody. There's no law stopping anybody. But we discriminate against ourselves and we rip ourselves off every day by not working towards this kind of income. All right, next question. I would like to know how to make more. A friend of mine says, okay, I think I've already answered those questions, but I'll answer them directly, just really short and sweet right now, without going too deep into it. My friend Bridget asks, I would like to know how to make more. So the best way to make more money, in my personal opinion, is to add value. A perceived value. And I say that because you can add value all day long, stuff that would save people's lives. And if they don't believe it, they're not buying it. And so it just doesn't matter. It has to be a perceived value. And there's people that have a product that absolutely harms people and crushes you and kills you and your family and your kids. But because their consumer base sees it as a value, they're going to buy it anyway, even though it's killing them. And that happens all the time through the pharmaceutical industry, the private health insurance industry, and even a big agricultural industry and a lot of other companies. There's two ways, I guess, in this context to make money. You can make money by healing the planet or polluting the planet. So, and it says this on my Facebook, I heart people who have the guts to be themselves, to live, to laugh, and to make tons of money by perpetuating health and wealth, rather than all those other people that are making their money by perpetuating sickness and poverty. So the way to make more money is to provide more value, a perceived value that people see as a perceived value, and be on the side of the fence that's perpetuating some kind of health and wealth value that people are really getting a sincere benefit from. And so you would need a vehicle to do that, right? You could do that by being an entrepreneur, getting involved in a home business where all that stuff is taken care of for you and all you have to do is really talk to people. Or you can get a job like every other sucker with a job and depend on that for your livelihood, where you're ripped off every day by taxes and you're ripped off every day by wage theft and you're ripped off every day by corporate welfare so they can have more while you have less. And you can, that's one way to make money, is to have a job. And I mean, that's the best way to steal nourishment from you and your family and to be totally shackled to the dollar, is to depend on a job for income. It's incredibly stupid. And a lot of people that are much smarter than me in probably every area of their life are just incredibly stupid in that one area. And that's why they never get ahead, and they're always controlled. Their time is always controlled and manipulated, and their hands just cuffed to the dollar. It just makes no sense. But you can draw a line in the sand and learn new things and carve out a different path for yourself, a better one. It's not just different, it's basically superior versus inferior. And I mean that with all sincerity, if anyone's jaw just dropped. Okay, so yeah, to answer your question, you need to figure out which way you want to make more money. It's good. It's either going to be at a job with ordinary earned income, where you're chained and shackled and an obedient worker, or as an entrepreneur and you learn about passive and residual money so you can unshackle yourself from the dollar and do something where you're adding value to people's lives in a way that's helping them in some way. All right, let's see here. Next question. Talk to us about starting from nothing and progressing to having enough to help others. I want to know about how to do that. Great question, Leslie. Starting from nothing. I know something about that. When I started, this was a long time ago. I didn't have an income, didn't have a job. My job was offshore to India for cheap labor. I became a statistic from bad federal trade policy. So I found myself with no job, no income, no benefits whatsoever, almost homeless. And what did I do? I got super creative. I gave up this idea that you need money to make money. I finally figured out that was a lie. So please don't subscribe to that, because that's a really great way to trap yourself. And I created a list of 31 ways of raising money without any money. So I got started on that, and I documented it. Again, that's on my website, tomberkenmeyer.com. I give it away for free. You can have that. Just get it. It's awesome, because it needs to help more people. So, and I was dating a girl at the time who got involved in a home business with a company called Team Beachbody. And so she invited me in. For 3 months I said no. So I understand people that say no. I didn't know if it was real. I mean, shit, I didn't know. And plus I was scared. But anyway, 3 months later I finally said yes, I got to do this. And my startup back then was $240. Now it's $140, so it's $100 easier to start. But back then, $240 when I had no job, no income, no nothing, I decided to get started. I had to put it on credit, and then I came up with that list of 31 ways of raising money so I could pay it off, and I just got my ass to work, and I started to eventually do well after lots of stumbling and tumbling, because I had no idea what I was doing. So I had to really embrace learning. But that's how I got started from nothing. The thing that I love most about home businesses and things like that, with like the one that I'm doing, Beachbody, is that the startup is so low that it reaches down to the very bottom. It's like you can start from nothing and attempt to do a traditional business where you might need $1 million to get started, but it's not available to everybody. In fact, I'll just say it. Our entire tax code and fiscal policy and monetary policy and the whole system is completely rigged against you 100%. It's tilted against you in favor of other people, maybe we'll say the top 1.1%. And so you have to decide if you want to stay there where the system is rigged against you or get out of that nonsense. I decided I wanted out of that nonsense. To me, it was all the more reason to not stay there, but to get out of there, because I don't want to participate in something that's rigged against me, you know? So I decided, yeah, I have to do this home business thing, learn what the hell I'm doing, because I didn't have any idea. And I started from nothing, and I was able to build myself up, and I don't know, and I'm an open guy, so if anybody knows where else you can start with nothing and get ahead, let me know, because I've asked that question for years and nobody's been able to give me an answer. So as far as I know, unless somebody corrects me, the only place you can really get into where you can start with nothing or something, it doesn't matter, wherever you're at, it reaches down to you and you can use it to pull yourself up. It's something like a home business, like a network marketing thing, like the one I do is Team Beachbody. So I mean, there's really nothing else that's going to be available for you, because unless you're already super rich, then you don't have the same opportunity and you don't have the same resources that's already afforded to the super rich. It's totally unfair and it's rigged for them against you, but it is what it is. So you have to be real about that and look at it. And unless you show me something else, network marketing is the only thing out there that's available to probably almost everybody. And that's the truth of it all. And that's a good thing, because it's a wonderful business model where you get to be yourself and not somebody weird, and you can unshackle yourself from the dollar and finally get ahead and gain control of your time. That means the world. And you can do it in a way where it's a byproduct of helping people get healthy and wealthy instead of managing sickness and poverty. So that's a beautiful thing, you guys. I can't say enough about that. All right, next question. This is fun. Oh my God. Let's see here. Okay, I have a friend who says she's amazing at always being able to hustle up some money, which is, that's a valuable skill. So I don't really see a question here, but I will form a question out of it. So let's say you're really great at hustling up some money. Good for you. That's awesome. It means you'll probably never starve, but it also means you'll probably always have to keep showing up to hustle up some money your whole life, or you'll stop being able to eat or pay the bills. So how do you get out of that scenario, whether you're hustling up money or you have a steady job, but still you want to get ahead and stop having to show up to keep getting paid? Whichever way it is, that boils down to developing a passive and residual income. Because with a passive and residual income, you will invest some upfront time, even if it's just a few minutes a day, but eventually you keep doing that faithfully around every busy thing you got going on. You do that for such a period of time, you'll emerge. It's imminent. It's not if, it's imminent. You will emerge at some point in the future a free human being where you can finally stop having to show up. You can finally stop having to hustle up some money, or stop going to a job, or stop some stupid self-employment experience that requires you to show up every day. You can finally stop, take a break, and still have a paycheck that comes in anyway, because you're finally learning and doing passive and residual income. And the best place where that's available for everybody is going to be the network marketing industry. Unless you have $1 million you can throw into starting a traditional business, which nobody has that, then your only option is going to be a network marketing thing. And that's actually a good thing, because it's the one business model that allows you to be yourself. No matter what your personality temperament is, you just be yourself. You do you, and you can build up that kind of freedom. And so that's how you get away from being shackled to the dollar, whether you can hustle up money or whether you show up for a job every day. Or whether you collect copper, like Kamara just said. I mean, that's still, you have to show up every day. Whether you're collecting something and selling it, or hustling up some money some other way, or showing up at a job, this is the exit from having to keep showing up to keep making money. And it's not taught in our public school system, by the way, and this is done on purpose because the richest banks in the world have owned our public school system, the curriculum, since 1903. 1903 they bought it, they still have it, and they did it on purpose so that they could keep you financially ignorant, because the financially ignorant are easier to control and manipulate because they need obedient workers. And that's what I'm trying to help everyone who will listen escape from that nonsense. They don't teach this in public school systems, and that is why they need obedient workers. And this curriculum is set by the richest banks in the world who need obedient workers, who don't want you to know about stuff like this. So please share this. Click share. Share it. Let's see here. Next question. Questions on money or value, whatever you want. Maybe I'll... Okay. Okay, this person was asking about money and value. I'm not really sure what the question was. I don't really see one there. But, oh yeah, I answered, maybe I'll answer, what is the value of money? So, okay, here's a question. What is the value of money? Because a lot of well-meaningful people have this false altruistic sense about money. Like, I'm too good for money. I don't need money. I don't need money to be happy and all this stuff. And some of these statements might be true. You don't need money to be happy. There's plenty of people that have money, that don't have money, that have a little, that have a lot, who aren't happy at all, who are and who aren't, and there's a combination of everything. So that's never the variable. It's not about making somebody whole or complete, having money. So there's a very false, grossly false altruism about money and painting money with this sort of evilness. And do you know who wants you to have a negative attachment towards money? Do you know who? It's, most importantly, it's going to be the richest multinational banks in the world. They want you to have a very negative connotation against money so that you're less likely to show up to start making your own money, because that way you are easier to control and manipulate. They need your obedience at the workplace. So they want you to have a negative attachment. So if you have a negative attachment towards money, you're playing into the pockets of very evil people who are already disgustingly rich, and they want to be richer at the expense of you. So you need to, if any of you listening to this have any negative attachment towards money, the most rebellious thing you could do against people who want to control and manipulate you through money dependency is to annihilate that stupid negative energy and attach a positive energy to it. And how do you do that? Simple. You equate making money to adding value to people's lives. So for example, I'm in this Team Beachbody home business thing. Team Beachbody is all about health and fitness. It's pro-organic, anti-GMO, pro-health of the world, health of people, pro-people making money and getting healthy, and a whistleblower too, for that matter, against managing sickness and creating poverty. So quite literally, the more millionaires that we create, the closer we come to ending trends of consumer debt and chronic obesity, chronic disease, chronic debt. The closer we come to ending all those horrible trends, and the closer we come to establishing better trends of health and wealth and happiness and all those things. So if you equate making money to those kinds of wonderful things, you should have no problem attaching a very positive energy towards money to where you want to make as much money as you humanly possibly can. And maybe you might decide to take only what you need for yourself and put the rest of it to work for the betterment of the entire planet. Do you realize how badly you will mess up the plans of people who just want to control and manipulate you through money dependency if you annihilate your negative energy that you have towards money and attach a positive one? You get out of negative, you get out of even neutrality. Neutrality is just as bad as negative energy towards money. No, you develop it with a positive eagerness to make as much money as possible, passive and residual money. And you totally mess up their plans to control and manipulate you. And you mess up the plans of industries whose goal it is to help people die as slowly as possible by managing sickness and creating more poverty. So you have to, if you're going to be altruistic at all, you have to give up this negative energy towards money, and you have to have a positive energy towards it. Like so positive, like you can no longer stop yourself from making as much of it as you possibly can and putting it to work for the betterment of the whole world. Period. I mean, there's no wiggle room on that. It's not even up for discussion or debate at one point. It really isn't. Okay, so that's the value of money, right? You have to look beyond what your eyes can see and equate it to, yeah, the richer I become, the more money I make. It's a symptom. It's a byproduct of people getting better in some way, people getting healthier and wealthier and just getting better. Next question. My friend Eric asks, which affiliate program has the best conversion rate for you? Okay, so here's some more transparent honesty. I'm not much of a math guy, so when it comes to number crunching, I have no idea what affiliate program or what network marketing opportunity or what MLM or what business out there. I have no idea. You're asking specifically about conversion rate. Okay, let me tell you this. Conversion rate has nothing to do with the company that you're with. I'll even say this, how much money you get paid has nothing to do with the company that you're with. This is another thing where find out what most people think and do the opposite and you'll be unusually successful. Well, most people when they're shopping around for like a home business to get involved in or an affiliate or whatever, they're looking for like the best compensation plan and this and that. They're looking at conversion rates and that has nothing to do with any of it. The people that do the most volume and make the most money, they're looking at themselves and making themselves better, because you could get into a company that has the weakest conversion, the weakest compensation plan, and you will out-earn somebody else who is in another company that has the strongest, most powerful compensation plan and best conversion rate. And you will out-earn them if you work harder on yourself than you do your company, product, and whatever else. So people are generally going after like the technicalities, which has a place. I guess that's important too. But the ones that do the best, the ones that help the most people, and the ones that do the most for their families and so forth, they're the ones that's looking internally, asking, how can I be better? Because the compensation plan and conversions and whatever else, none of that's going to matter at all if you don't learn what you're doing. So you have to get the skill. You have to show up for the training and develop yourself every day. And then at that point, none of that stuff really matters. You could be in the weakest whatever, and you'll kill it every time. So Eric, I hope that helps answer your question. Because I think your focus is incorrect. Based on very outstanding empirical evidence, I think the focus is incorrect. The focus needs to be on you, and it won't matter what all the technical stuff is. It just won't. And I think I'm a pretty good case of that because I don't understand the technical stuff. I don't understand everything about conversions and compensate. I don't even understand the compensation plan that I'm in. So how's that for a bombshell? I do not fully understand my own compensation plan, but I'm doing really well because I have my focus where it should be. I'm not focused on the compensation plan. I'm focused on myself, how I talk to people, my communication skills, my own skill set, and I'm focused on helping as many people as I can. And because that's where my focus is, whatever the compensation plan is, it's able to work for me. And there's nothing wrong with understanding the comp plan. It's just, I'm not a gearhead, I'm not a tech head, so I don't understand it. I don't even have a desire to understand it. That's just me personally. Okay, my friend Becky asked, how can I raise my credit score without paying off huge student loans? Well, if you don't pay off your student loans and you don't make your payments on time, I'm afraid your credit score is going to take a hit anyway. Here's the sinister thing about student loans. It's the one kind of debt that is unforgivable. You can file bankruptcy and you can be forgiven of just about any other kind of debt, but when it comes to student loans, sorry, you're saddled with that for the rest of your life, and it will affect your credit score. So if I were in your shoes, I'm not telling you what to do, but I would get into an MLM, home business, network marketing thing full on, and I would do whatever it took to build it up, and I would experience that exponential growth. I'd figure it out, and I'd pay off my student loans. That's what I would do. And to answer your question beyond that, the 4 big credit cards, American Express, Visa, MasterCard, Discover, those are the 4 ones that really show up with credit scores. The other credit cards, not so much. So one of the best things you can do is take out a credit card of one of the big 4. And whatever you're buying, stuff you're going to buy anyway, put it on that and just make sure you pay down your credit card every month, or at least make the minimum payments. And that's going to build your credit score. Big time. Let's see here. How do I get more? My friend Rachel asks. How do I get more money? Rachel asks. Okay, so going back to how I answered it earlier, equating money to value, the value of money is you look at money as a symptom or a byproduct, a result. Money is the result, a direct result of how many people you help to benefit their lives. So how do you get more? Add more value, benefit more people's lives in a way that they perceive it as a benefit and a value. And I went into a big long answer about that earlier, about exactly how you do that. So you can just go back and earlier in this video, and you'll get a lot more about that. But that's the short answer. Provide more perceived value. The ones that provide the most perceived value, that have a vehicle with a compensation plan, are the ones that make the most money. So to get more, just provide more value. Let's see here. Next question. How do I pay my bills this month? I answered that earlier too, but I'll give it another quick answer, and you can always go back, Jenny, and anyone else, and review the answers. But how do you pay your bills this month? Well, in this context, there's going to be two ways. You keep showing up at a job, you keep showing up to hustle up some money every day, you keep showing up at a self-employed experience, keep showing up, and that's how you get your bills paid this month. And then next month rolls around, you start at zero, so you got to keep showing up, and you pay bills that month. So as the money comes in, the money goes out. Sound familiar? That's how most people live and die. So what is the escape from that? Well, there's another way to have your bills paid this month and next month and month after that and the month after that. And that is to start at least putting a fragmentation of your time. Even if you only have time for a few minutes a day because you're so busy, you got to start somewhere. Let it be a few minutes a day at the very least then. Start developing a passive and residual income. That way, eventually, you will emerge at some point in the future able to cover all of your bills, all of your expenses, living in luxury, without having to keep showing up to do it. That's the beauty of passive and residual income. It's money that comes in no matter what you're doing with your time. But you need to start showing up to create that because it requires an upfront investment of your time, much like the farmer who wants a crop in his field. He has to show up first, the upfront investment, sow the seed and cultivate and all that stuff. Then he gets a harvest. It's not the other way around. The harvest doesn't come first, and it's the same thing with having your bills covered every month. They're not going to be covered every month unless you put the upfront investment of your time into developing a passive and residual income. And then you'll have this beautiful harvest, and you can do whatever you want with your time. And if you don't start doing that, then like, most everybody else, you'll have to constantly keep showing up and paying your bills. Money comes in and then it goes right out, which means that you have to keep showing up so that you can keep paying your bills. Now, and that's a horrible way to live. And I'm not much into stats, but some of them are pretty good. But one of the most telling ones is 98% of the population is either dead or dead broke before the age of 65, dependent and needy on the federal government as the main source of their income, and friends as the main source of their income, because they spent their whole lives working for a paycheck. Money comes in, it goes out, so they have to keep showing up. That hamster wheel, insidious pyramid scam type of income that we're taught to make when we go to school, our public school system. So you have to start developing a residual and passive income. Upfront investment of your time, even if it's just a few minutes every day, and that's the beauty of it, is that you can start it in just a few minutes every day, which means anybody can do it because it's just a few minutes or so a day, no matter how busy your life is. And you'll never get this in the public school system or at college. The places you're going to learn about things like passive and residual income is going to be, well, you got to Google research it and find out who teaches it, who did it, who's accomplished it, who's really good at it, and who can teach it, and you're going to be a great student. I teach it. So if you want to learn from me among other people, well, you got my website, tomberkenmeyer.com. I teach a lot about passive and residual money because it's the only income that can set a person free. Every other income is a pyramid scam that shackles you to the dollar, and it's no good. And then you're constantly asking the question, how am I going to pay bills this month? Oh, I got to keep showing up because as soon as money comes in, it goes out. So now the money's gone here, I got to keep showing up, and then that money's gone again, and there's no end to it. It's horrible. It's so depressing, and you don't have to keep living that way. That's up to you. Let's see here. Why does money even exist? Julia, that's a great question. If it wasn't money, it would be something else. I guess in this experience, we have to have some form of currency to trade on. And a long time ago, we bartered, and there's a time and place for that, but bartering isn't very consistent. But a dollar is always going to be worth a dollar, is always going to be worth a dollar. However, the value of that dollar decreases every year from inflation, which means saving money is a bad idea. And all retirement funds are a very bad idea. They just are because of that. But why does it exist? Because in this human experience, we have to have something to trade with. That's the best answer I got. And I'm certainly not saying that to be right or to be wrong or or because I think it's a good or a bad idea. I'm just saying it is what it is, and we have to accept the reality of it if we're going to do anything about it. So I think it's worthwhile to change the focus into learning about how money really works, which you're not going to get from our school system, but to learn how it really works so that you can put it in your favor, so that you can start being the master of money versus money being the master of you. Because everybody is either going to be working for money or they're going to have money work for them. And that's a very important distinction. It's the difference between being shackled to the dollar and being free from the dollar. And first you have to know really what money is, how it works, and you have to recognize that the system is absolutely tilted against you if you are working for money. If you have a job, and if you're self-employed for that matter, the harder that you work, the more money you make, the more that you're penalized for it. So the first step is to get out of that nonsense and change your facts, and you change all of that, and you change the entire system from being rigged and slanted against you to being in your favor just by starting a business that has residual and passive income built into it. Someone says, I'm ready for you. Are you ready for me? I don't know what they mean by that. That's my question about, or rather for money. Oh, she's saying she's ready for money. Is money ready for her? Okay, revert to what I just said, Kelly. So you say you're ready for money, and you're asking, is money ready for you? Well, I think that boils down to money will be ready for you, and it will be flowing into you if you learn about it first. And then when you learn about it, you're going to make some discoveries. And then based on the discoveries that you make, you're going to make some different decisions. You're going to carve out a new path because you're going to be like, oh, I had no idea money worked this way. Well, no wonder I can't get ahead. I was doing it wrong. And then you're going to figure out what to do. And I'm telling you, the only thing that there exists more of than opportunity is money. They print so much stinking money that nobody, no matter how rich they are, could ever make it or save it fast enough to keep up with how fast they print it. So the only thing there exists more of than opportunity is money. So then why is there such an enormous income gap and wealth inequality? Because most people don't learn about it. It's not taught in our public school system, and most people can't be bothered to get outside of that box to learn something new outside of that box that's been built for them that they feel comfortable inside of. And so that's the price they pay for not getting outside of that stupid comfortable box, is they sell their souls, their body, their mind, their spirit, and their soul every day for a paycheck. That's the price to be paid for not getting outside of that box that's been built for them. So if money is going to be ready for you, to answer your question, that depends on you to get outside of that box and learn about how money really works. And then you're going to know what to do. You're going to make those discoveries like I did, and very few other people have. And that's where the bulk of the money is going to go towards. Hope that makes sense. And I got, by the way, tons of resources for free on my website at tomberkenmeyer.com. Next, someone's asking, how do I budget my money? Invest the money you have. If you have it, buy a home, rent it out, blah, 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 blah. Single men or women up in the age that are on a fixed income. Like I saw one question in there. I'm not sure what the rest of that was, Juanita. But how do I budget my money? Okay, I'm not going to give a very specific answer here, but the best thing I can tell you for yourself is learn about a balance sheet and a statement of cash flow. And once you establish a balance sheet and a statement of cash flow, you're going to see line by line exactly where all your money is coming from, where it's going, by category, by line item, and it's going to be very eye-opening. That's when you can start to look at and examine and develop maybe a better strategy and be like, aha, so this is what's happening. And I mean, that's just going to lead you down probably a better pathway than you're on now, just by looking at those numbers, because it's numbers. I mean, it's real black and white. It's a really great thing about that. And here's a tip. I mean, if you really want to get ahead, then you have to pay yourself first. If you want to help more people and get ahead at the same time, you have to pay yourself first. Pay your bills last. Everything else is last. I mean, don't be late. Live up to your responsibilities, but maybe you can make minimum payments, and you can put it off until the deadline date and make minimum payments. But in the meantime, pay yourself first. And what do I mean by that? I don't mean go out and save it or buy stuff or rack up consumer debt. No. What I mean by that is you invest in your own education about money and how to make it. start a business, a home business, and invest in yourself so that you can learn how to build that home business. And if you do that first, then all these other things that you've got, the debt that you have, the credit card loans, maybe you've got student debt, then this other stream of income that you just learned how to develop because you invested and paid yourself first, you're going to have no problem paying all that stuff off. None whatsoever. And I know people who are actually in that particular situation where they got that advice to pay themselves first, and they did it, and that's how they got out of debt. And there, believe me, there's many more people. It's much more common for people to pay their bills first, right? And they pay off all these other things first. They don't ever get around to paying themselves. Therefore, the same circular pattern year after year. They never get ahead. They're always underwater. They can't even come up to water level. They're just always underwater because they never pay themselves first. And it's very scary, especially when you're underwater, to look at that and go, I can't pay myself first. I'm underwater. So that's scary. But I'm telling you, if you never pay yourself first, you'll always be underwater. And again, to pay yourself first means that you buy a business for a couple $100, put it on credit if you have to, and then you invest in your own skills and you learn how to build it so that you develop this passive residual money to get yourself off the hamster wheel paycheck that you currently make at your job that's not doing anything for you. And then as that grows, you get off the hamster wheel paycheck and you pay off all this other debt, and you finally come up to the waterline and you go above the waterline. Now you're above water and you're doing great because you finally figured out that you really did have to throw a wrench in that circular pattern of being underwater year after year. The ultimate wrench to disrupt all of that, to being underwater year after year, is to start paying yourself first, not last. Your bills get paid last, yourself first, and that's how your bills are going to be paid off to a balance of zero, all debt eventually. You put that guarantee into yourself by being a business owner and learning how to build it, and it takes care of all that. So that's the answer to that. Next question. See what else I've got here. That was the last one in that thread. So let me scroll up to the post I made today, and then in this live feed, see if I missed anything new. My website, by the way, while I'm scrolling, is tomburkenmeyer.com. Take out the space, just like it's spelled here on social media, tomburkenmeyer.com. And share this with people, because they don't teach this in our public school system, and people need to know about it. Okay. All right, so now I'm getting to the live feed. Let's see here. It'd be quicker if I just load it on my laptop. By the way, if you have questions in this live feed, please ask it, because now I'm getting to the live feed and I'll be able to see it as this is loading, and then I can answer it right here. There we go. All right, so let me use my finger and scroll here. Go up to the very top. Hello, everybody. Hi, Lori. Hi, Rosie. Hi, Anais. Shanta. Mel. So great to see you guys. Crystal. Annette. Lady Celine. Lady Celine says this is not working at all. Sometimes on a live broadcast, it's not so good. And then a lot of times, not every time, once it's archived and posted, it's a lot better. So hopefully that'll be the case now. Hi, Annette. Looks like a good channel. Okay, somebody else is not having problems. So more than likely, Lady Celine and anybody else that's not getting a good reception, more than likely the recording is going to be much better for you if you come back and watch. And you can still comment and I'll get back to you later. Hi, Jenny. Jenny, my friend from Great Britain, we are opening up in Great Britain this fall. So you may want to connect with me about that because I know you've been interested. Mel, she says, not on the topic, but getting back to Shakeology, she was in the best shape of her life and felt the best when she was doing P90X and Shakeology vegan chocolate, and has been in a serious decline since then. Well, Mel, and anybody else watching, if you want to get back on that, let me know. I'd be happy to help you. According to my friend Mel, she was in the best shape of her life when she was doing what we have for nutrition and home fitness. So I guess that's a shout out to anybody that's interested in getting in the best shape of your life and how that feels when you're that healthy. Hi, Lisa. I'll see you soon, Lisa and Kelly, in New Orleans in the next month and a half or so, or whenever it is. New Orleans is going to be fun. Hi, Diane. Annette says it's good stuff. Thank you. I'm in hungry mode this month. It's not cool. Okay, so Chimera, it sounds like you're in a lot of trouble. You're in hungry mode. You don't have enough money to eat. So going back on what I talked about earlier, there's a resource I made, 31 ways to raise money without having any. Maybe you can get some ideas in there to hustle up some quick money so that you can eat. And then after that first tier of survival, I really strongly recommend you get involved in a home business immediately, because it's the one area where it reaches down to anybody, no matter what their financial status is. And that's a pretty wonderful thing that we have that opportunity to create income like that. A lot of people agreeing with me. That's cool. Michelle, I'm happy your surgery went well. Let's see here. Hi, Juanita. Juanita, you don't have a bank account. You're a strong believer in... I'm not sure what you're a strong believer in. Juanita, I don't know that it's possible to ever get ahead if you don't have a bank account. And I'm not talking about saving money, but it's more like a temporary holding place to shuttle money from one source to another, so that, one, you don't get taxed for it, and two, you end up making more money and you have more equity in whatever. I'm not going to teach about that here, but that's the reason why I have a bank account, is just a temporary holding place so that I can make more of it and do more things with it. I'm happy without it. You're happy without money if you have everything you need, but in emergency we need money. Yeah, I hate it. Yeah, Chimera, I mean, don't take this badly, but I read that you don't have enough money to eat, and but you're saying you're happy without it. So hopefully you understand the inconsistency there. You need it. It's just the reality of the situation. Somebody else asked, why do we need it? Well, this is one reason why. I mean, it covers our first tier needs for one thing, and beyond that, you can go as high as you want. And with my philanthropy, I can't talk, my philanthropic heart, if that's such a word, I like the idea of making as much money as I can, much more than I need for myself. I want to make tons more than I need for myself, take what I need for myself, but then put the rest of it to work for the betterment of the entire planet. And if enough people have that attitude, then we don't have to have a thing like there's 1 billion people in the world who are starving to death, mostly kids. So think about that, all of you. If you're even entertaining the notion of, I just want to make what I need for myself and that's it. Because while you're saying that, there's 1 billion people, mostly kids, who are kind of helpless because they're small kids, who are starving to death because too many people share that same philosophy of, I'll just make what I need for me and skip everyone else. I mean, I'm sure you're not thinking skip everyone else, but if you're only making what you need for yourself and you're not going above and beyond to help out, then there's 1 billion kids that are going to starve to death because you represent an attitude that's far too common, and that's not cool. So think about that the next time you entertain that notion and get into this idea of, I want to help out. Let's see here, reading more comments. I hate that when people use money to control me. I'd rather be broke. Chimera, again, don't take this badly, but you're missing the point of everything that I've said. If you're broke, then you are being controlled and manipulated by money because you're broke, and you just said you can't afford to eat this month. So, and I gave a big long talk earlier that I think you were present for about having a negative attachment towards money, and how having a negative attachment towards money plays into people's pockets that are already disgustingly deep and makes them even deeper because they need you to have a negative attachment towards money and to be okay with being broke and all these things because you're easier to control and manipulate. They need obedient workers, and so I want to strongly encourage you to draw a line in the sand and don't do that anymore, because it just empowers people to harm us with their control and manipulation over the dollar. So don't be okay with being broke, and don't be okay with making just what you need for yourself, because you're currently starving for food, and negative attachments towards money certainly helped you get to this location. So I say this to hopefully give you a big aha moment, so you're like, oh, okay, I get it. and you attach a very positive energy to making money, so that one, you take care of your own first tier needs of being able to help yourself, because then you're going to be able to do more for yourself and for others around you, and you'll be able to break out of this trap that you've fallen into of being controlled and manipulated through money dependency, and you don't have to be broke anymore, and you can do more for other people. So I hope that made sense. Let's see here. Who else? Hi, Natalie. Nice to see you. So, do I think I should? Do I think you should dump your cable bill, car insurance being liability instead, so I can save money? Cable bill, probably. I mean, you said you can't afford to eat, so is it more important to eat, or is it more important for you to have cable TV? I'm not going to judge you. That's up to you. But you have to decide what's more important there. And if I were in your shoes, I would dump my cable bill. I mean, that's a luxury expense. If I don't have enough money to eat, I would dump my cable bill. I don't need it. I'd rather eat. And saving money. I also wouldn't save money. I would spend it on myself as soon as possible. Like, first, I would take care of being able to eat, because that's a first tier need. I got to eat. And I have to have a place to live, right? Like rent, mortgage, whatever. And then food, security, shelter, like a house to live in, and food. That's first tier stuff. I would take care of that first, and then anything after that, I would not save. I would buy a home business, and I would invest in my skills so I can learn how to build it and generate that new passive and residual income, so that I would never ever end up in that situation again. Because if you don't build passive and residual income, then you're totally vulnerable to ending up in that situation again. Even if you solve that problem temporarily for now, there's nothing to safeguard you from being back in that spot of starving for food because you don't have enough to eat. So as soon as you take care of that first tier need, in my opinion, I don't think you should save money at all. You should put it towards investing in yourself and building up a passive and residual income so that you never ever have to deal in that situation ever again. Hi, Annette. I'm glad this was pleasurable for you. Annette private messaged me about the Shakeology samples, and I'll see that soon. Okay, and I'm all caught up. So this is going to be the last shout out. If anybody has any other questions, I've answered everything, and nobody has asked for further explanation. No, a couple people have, and I gave further explanation, but I don't see any more requests for any further information and no new questions. So share this, my friends. Share this with people, and if you want to know what I'm doing, I'm happy to share it with you, and if you see it as a good fit for you, then we'll do it. And if you don't, then keep searching for something that is. I'm all about you being yourself. All of my trainings, if you decide to do something with me, if you want to work with me personally, all of my trainings are centered around you being yourself, no matter what your personality temperament is. You could be the shyest, most awkward person ever. It's all built around you being yourself and making passive and residual money by perpetuating health and wealth instead of sickness and poverty. So if you like those ideas of actually making a residual income by you being yourself, perpetuating health and wealth instead of sickness and poverty, then private message me and I'll share with you what I've got. And if you see it as a fit for you, we'll do it. And if you don't, it's no big deal. Keep searching for something that is. And if you do this with me, you'll be inviting people a similar way like you just saw me do. Because that way, nobody feels weird if they're not into it. And I get a lot of people that say, oh, thanks, Tom. You're a pretty cool guy. And these are people that ended up not being interested. But because I said, yeah, it's totally cool, no big deal. Hope you find something that you like. And they're like, yeah, thanks, Tom. You're pretty cool. So that's the experience that you'll have. So I'll hear from a lot of you real soon. And share this, get this out there, because this is stuff that's not taught in our public school system, and it's done on purpose. And on my website, tomberkenmeyer.com, I got tons more resources there for free. Okay? I can afford to work for free, by the way. I've got a resource of, we'll call them, oh my gosh, there's got to be about 3,000 products I've made. 3,000 products, all for free, because I can afford to do that because I learned about money. So I feel I have incredible standing to teach about it and to do live Q&As like this. 3,000 and counting products for free. Just have at it. If any of them can help you out, that's a good thing. Bye for now, everybody. Mwah.